Morning. Not sure if you guys can see me. I cannot see you. The screen is entirely black, which is a bit of a problem. Morning, Eric. I see you on, although I'm not sure if you can see me. Can you see me? Because my screen is completely black. Completely black, which is strange. Never happened before. Can anyone see me? Yes, I can see you. Okay. I have a blank screen, folks, which is very odd. So we'll give it a minute for some more folks to jump on. I hear people say they can see me clearly. I cannot. How's the volume, guys? Is the volume okay? Everybody says they can see me. This is okay. We'll have to just go for it then, because I cannot see the screen at all, which is odd. So volume okay, guys? Let's see. Sean says, yep. I'm assuming he's talking about the volume, so we will get into it. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Rich. If this is your first time joining me, I'm happy to have you here. We got Mike Seeklander on. He's going to be sharing this, and also like and share as well. Comment. Let me know where you're from. If you're a coin member, let me know what your coin number is and where you're joining us from this morning. Man, I'm in a festive Christmas mood. That's why I got this Christmas cup here. Normally have my American Warrior Society coffee cup, but it was dirty, so we'll have it out of the Christmas cup. Also, remember the Tumbler giveaway. We are going to be giving away a tumbler if we reach 50 live viewers. And we're already off to a good start. We've been on for about a minute or so. We're up to 20 already. Josh, good morning, sir. My lovely bride, Miss Lisa, is awake and moving over there. Tom, Dorothy, loud and clear. Fantastic. Got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Let me see if I got this tumbler over here. The old Gen 1 American Warrior Society tumbler. It is a beautiful sight. And if we hit 50 live, somebody's going to be walking away with that bad boy. And also, by the way, those will be in some prize bags and on the prize table tomorrow at the Oak Ridge Sportsman's Association Toys for Tots match. And your old buddy Rich Brown will be shooting that match tomorrow. So if you're in East Tennessee tomorrow, come see me at the Toys for Tots match. And heck, bring a $20 unwrapped toy, and we're going to give that away, those toys away, to some needy young children here in East Tennessee. I got a lot of stuff to talk to you. As always, we're going to talk about an article. We're going to talk about podcasts you need to check out. We're going to talk about gadgets. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Before I jump into it, Will Parker says, good morning, brother. Coin number 800 from Montana. Will, good morning, sir. Always good to see you on. Mark, coin number 976, Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Robert Gayhart, AWS Extended Warrior Family, 1,401. That's his coin number, from Northern Kentucky. Donna Rutledge, coin number 1499 from Texas. Sean McKay, coin number 931, St. Paul, Minnesota. Wow, I bet it's cold up there. Jim says Tulsa, Oklahoma. My brother Jeff Brown just retired from the United States Coast Guard after a long time in uniform. I think Jeff was in the Marine Corps from 1992 and just retired. So what's that? 27 years of service. On behalf of the Brown family, you're welcome for our 50 years of service. Mike Seeklander, coin number 1. Good morning, Mr. Mike. Hey, the article is The Importance of the Training Environment, and that's by our old buddy Chad Faulkner. He was writing under the pen name of Chad Ray when he was writing articles for us in the American Warrior Society, because Chad at the time was on active duty in the United States military as a SOCOM member, and we wanted to protect his identity, and he wrote under a nom de guerre. And the importance of the training environment that Chad put together for us is an interesting one, because what he talks about is the only time that the room that you should be training in is sterile is when you're learning close quarters battle or learning how to shoot and move around people. But as your skill sets progress and you move from the static, fluid, and then into the dynamic phase of your training, the rooms and environments you train in should be a little bit more realistic. And he gives some examples of this. And I think if you've been in the military and you've trained in what they call a mount environment, military operations and urban terrain, you know that the rooms are normally pretty clean, but they shouldn't be. There should be couches in the way. There should be TV sets that are broken. There should be bottles on the floor. There should be an environment like you're going to see when you're actually fighting in a house. And I could give you innumerable stories about this, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Another interesting one I saw when I went to a course up at Quantico, Virginia, was, I think it was at the FBI Academy, Hogan's Alley. Hogan's Alley, if you've never been to the FBI Academy, is an amazing training place. There's an actual sandwich shop there. There's an actual bank there. There's everything. There's everything that you would find in a normal city is in Hogan's Alley. So the training environment is ultra realistic. And that's important, I think. One of the things that we saw is if you're telling me to take cover, what does cover look like? Because if you're a competitive shooter, you've got an idea that cover is a plastic barrel. Again, concealment is something that conceals you. Cover is something that stops bullets. It offers ballistic protection. So you can be tricked into thinking things are providing you cover when they're not. So I think training in a realistic training environment where you're actually seeking out and getting behind cover is important. So all the articles are free, guys. I tell you that every single week. Check out that article and learn the importance of the training environment. And like Mike says, take a minute to share, share. We're up to 31 live viewers. Razmik has shared. Gerald Dees is on up in Oregon, number 952. Before I go into any further, so that's the article you need to check out. I want to borrow William April's saying. And Dr. William April of April Risk Consulting has a saying, they don't think like us. And our old buddy John Correa, back in October the 3rd of this year, had a post on his YouTube channel. And go check that out. I think it was called something like Chaos at a Convenience Store, Insanity at a Convenience Store, whatever. It's the one he put out October the 3rd. And you watch a guy come in and set two women on fire at a convenience store he's robbing. And he's robbing this convenience store for probably less than $100. He presents a gun. He brings the cashier around. He duct tapes her face. He duct tapes her hands, her ankles. He had came into the store and bought some lighter fluid earlier. One of her friends is coming in to check on her because she works at a convenience store. She's worried about her. She comes in, and the woman sees the killer or the attempted murderer, and he's got a Jesus necklace on. He's got the cross of our Savior around his neck. And she says, "Oh, you a Christian?" He says, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Well, give me a hug." So this scumbag gives the woman a hug and then takes her behind the counter, duct tapes her up, pours lighter fluid on them, and sets them both on fire. So to, again, use William April saying, they don't think like us, folks. Which leads me into the next thing. You got to be prepared, right? You got to be prepared for this kind of craziness. Because that person was prepared. He had came in and bought the lighter fluid and duct tape an hour or so before and was waiting around for his opportunity when he was in the convenience store with only that woman. How do you do that? You need to be strong, physically strong. Like one of our recent guests on the American Warrior Show said, he doesn't do jiu-jitsu or anything. He does stronger than you fu. He works out with weights. He's a strong man. And podcast number 52 talks about original strength, restoring your body in 5 moves. And again, the article is written by Chad Ray, and this guest was Chad Ray. He wrote the book, Original Strength for the Tactical Athlete. Check that book out on Amazon. And Chad tells you that there's 5 basic moves, kind of like crawling, these movements you did probably as a child. How if you do them now as an adult, it's going to help reset and restore your original strength. So check that out. John reposted it yesterday. Oh my gosh, Chad Isom. We're in the Marine Corps together. Chad is on. Good morning, Chad. Will Parker says, John reposted it yesterday. Casey says, hello. Good morning, Rich. Hope the coffee is strong. He's coin number 1844. And again, if you wonder what a coin number is, guys, you can find out all about our membership opportunities by going to AmericanWarriorSociety.com. And while I take a second to sip on my coffee, please like and share this with someone who needs it. Coffee is strong. It is my espresso. 2 double shots, man. I am zooming. So we talked about the podcast. We talked about an article. Let's talk about the store. My old partner in crime, Mr. Mike Seeklander, spent all day long yesterday on our store, getting it updated, getting better products for you. Literally, the poor guy was probably on there for like, I don't know, 10 or 12 hours. He did an amazing job with our store. Please go check that out if you want to rock some American Warrior Society swag. And the swag that we get the most compliments on, man, that people really want is this retro model, the weathered American Warrior Society logo. Mike's got you hooked up. We actually have some of those on there. We're up to 43 live viewers, folks, 7 more to go, and somebody's going to get the Gen 1 Tumbler. So like I said, check out the store, AmericanWarriorSociety.com. You can read all these articles for free if you're interested in that by going there as well. Toys for Tots match, I mentioned that. I'll be there tomorrow. Make sure you're doing something like that this holiday season. Do something more than I'm doing than drinking out of a festive holiday mug. Actually get out there and donate something. You know, when me and Mike were Marines in the reserves together, we would actually put on our dress blues and walk around and try to get people to donate toys, and that was an amazing time. Now I'm an old guy. I'm not putting on my blues anymore, but I can go in and donate a toy. Let's see. Chad says, hey, Rich, great to see you, my brother. Great to see you, Chad. My bride says, good morning, everyone. Razmik says, you need it. Yes, sir, I do. Mike says he spent 50 hours on the store. No kidding. Buy stuff. Yeah, and he's actually putting some links there, man. We got a black AWS rash guard finally, and I'll be picking up one of those today. And let's see what else we got here. We also, I guess it's time to get into the gadget. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to this gadget. So here it is. And I have no idea the name of this gadget. I'm going to tell you how I come into possession of it, and we'll talk about it a little bit. A buddy of mine knows I'm into self-defense here, so that's about all he knows. So he saw these at a flea market. They were, I think, $10. You can pick something like this up on Amazon for probably anywhere from $12 to $14. This is a stun gun / flashlight. So there's the flashlight. It's advertised 350 lumens. As you can see, it's got a crenulated bezel around the front, so you can use it for striking. It's got the it's got this ring around it right here so that it won't roll. You know, you can't roll it off the table. You set it down and it stays. It's an all aluminum anodized body. It's got a selector switch here. This one goes for flashlight. The center notch goes for nothing. And finally, the third notch, and if I push this button and move it to the third notch, it's a stun gun. If you don't want to have the stun gun, you can actually turn that feature off on the bottom and just use it as a flashlight. So this thing supposedly puts out 30,000 volts, and I'm told that if anybody tells you that the stun gun will put out more than 30,000, they don't understand physics. I don't understand physics, so I'll take their word for it. But what it does is it puts out 1.5 microcoulomba, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, folks. And what that does is I'm told that anything above 0.5 produces unbearable pain. So let's just say that this will probably hurt you a lot. But be honest with you, I've never used one of these on anybody, so I really can't say how effective they are. When I was a police officer, we didn't have tasers. I think the supervisors had tasers, so it was like one on the shift, and I didn't have it. I had pepper spray, a firearm, a baton, and a couple other little gadgets, but I didn't have a stun gun, so I have zero experience with them. What I will tell you is that right there scares the crap out of our dogs and most dogs. And if you read the reports, I think that's a lot of what people's had success with. They go walking with this guy, And if a dog comes up, they literally don't even have to touch the dog. They just make the zapping noise. One of the things I do not like about this is I can't use the flashlight and shock anybody at the same time. That's a problem. If I'm in a low-vis environment, I'm searching, and it's time to shock somebody, I'm literally going to have to move the selector switch down here to give them some voltage. Honestly, you'll probably have better success using your hands than this, because if you're carrying this in your purse, and there's an interesting video you can find on YouTube of a jiu-jitsu female and her coach, and she's got her purse on in her street clothes, and she's got this in her bag or a tool like it, and he attacks her. So she's rolling around the ground trying to fish this out of her bag. She finally does, and she's doing a really good job with her jiu-jitsu, by the way, trying to maintain position so that she can pull this out. And when she gets it out, the coach controls her hands, and she never gets this into play. It's 14 minutes of them going multiple times, and I don't think she ever shocked the guy one time. And now obviously she's rolling with a trained jiu-jitsu guy. I get it, but he's got an interesting point there. I don't know. Has anybody ever had any success with these? If you've had a success with a stun gun, let me know, man. I'm really interested in this tool. Good morning, Denise. Good to see you. Yeah, this I Love Me wall, man. I'm getting tired of looking at it already. I've only had it up for about a month, and I don't know. Yeah, here's the deal, guys. It can be up here or it can be in the attic. And some of this stuff was, as you know, hard-earned. Morning, Rich. That's what John says. Good morning, John. 50, yeah. Boom, 52. I have one of those on my nightstand. Thanks to this dude, Will Parker is back. M26 hurts like hell when it is used as a dry stun. We're up to 40 live viewers. Shock me, Rich. Shock me. Oh, I'm going to shock you, Mike. Don't down on that. 50 live viewers. Okay, we hit 50. Good. So someone is going to walk away with the Gen 1 Tumbler. Here's the deal. So if you like this, let me know if you've ever had any success with this. I would love to hear it, because I have not. So this is all new territory to me. What I will say, I did a little research on this. There was a 6-year period from June of 2001 to June 2007. They did a study, and the study found that there were 245 deaths as a result of the taser. Now, obviously, this isn't a taser. It's a stun gun. It's going to give you a dry stun. But for someone with a heart arrhythmia, this could be potentially fatal. Again, these are not non-lethal products. Pepper spray, batons, impact weapons, stun guns, all these things, they're not non-lethal, meaning they guaranteed not to kill anybody. They are less lethal. They're less lethal than a firearm. They fill the gap between your soft hand skills, your hard hand skills, and the firearm edge weapon. That's the place where these go. But those 245 deaths, a lot of coroners said that these caused an arrhythmia called, ventricular fibrillation, I think is the name of it. It's where your heart has two tops. It has the atrial at the top of the heart, and the ventricular, which is the bottom of the heart. And that's the one that'll kill you. And when the ventricular goes out, you ain't going to make it. Now, I'm no cardiologist. Lucky to get off with a bachelor's degree, but it wasn't in anything scientific. So anybody have any success with these things? Okay, we're up to 44 live viewers. So far, it doesn't look like anybody's used a stun gun. I certainly haven't. I think it's an interesting tool. Might have its place, especially that you're more likely to use this flashlight than anything else. But if you are using those, let me know. I want to talk to you about a couple of things here before I jump off. When we talk about having a gadget like these, when the time to perform arrives, the time to prepare is over. So you either have this when you need it or you don't. You either have your firearm when you need it or you don't. You either have the pepper spray when you need it or you do not. You either know jiu-jitsu when the time comes or you don't. Gadgets like this, all they're going to do is buy you time. If you have to use this, all it's going to do is buy you a little piece of time that you have to use, whether you're using it to escape or you're using it to take the back and do some other technique, whether you're trying to get a better position, you're trying to get your firearm into play, whatever you're trying to do, these things are just buying you micro chunks of time. And when it comes to micro chunks of time, let's talk about micro prepping. We talked about preparing yourself beforehand with gadgets like this, but there's also micro prepping. And my good friend Justin Carroll, who wrote the book Complete Privacy and Security Manual, which is about that thick, you need to pick it up. He's got a new blog, Swift, Silent, Deadly, man. And I told him I'd give him a shout out this morning because I like the stuff that he's talking about with regard to micro prepping. What am I talking about, micro prepping? Micro prepping is wearing closed-toed shoes when you know you're going to be out and you know you're going to be on rough terrain, or you know you're going to be at a concert where somebody might step on your feet, or you may have to run. It's wearing a shirt like this with buttons on it, you know, so that I don't have to tear my shirt up if I'm drawing my handgun. It's going to break away. It's backing your car in. It's leaving your shirt untucked when you know you're carrying a firearm. It's having your phone in your support side pocket. It's all these little micro preparedness decisions that you can make to keep yourself safer. Let's see who's on this morning. First time I've ever seen the flashlight stun gun combo. Adam Boyce. Good morning, Adam. It's an honor to have you on, sir. Chad is on. Les says, the ventricular quiver there for not allowing adequate pumping action. Yeah, man. Potentially lethal. Scott says, good morning, everyone. We always have our hands, elbows, feet, shins, knees. Learn your body weapons first. And Mike's right. Mike says, any weapon can be taken away and used against you. Let me tell you a truism. And someone said this, and this is not an original thought. It doesn't matter who brought the gun to the fight. It doesn't matter who brought the knife to the fight. It doesn't matter who brought the stun gun to the fight. What matters is who controls it. I want you to remember that. If you're carrying a firearm and you don't know how to maintain, retain, or get your firearm back if you're lost in it, if you lose it in a tangled fight, you're in trouble, folks. You have to know that. It doesn't matter who brought the gun. The other person can bring the gun. If he doesn't know how to retain it, and I do, I'm going to take that gun away. It's just a simple fact. And if you want to learn how to retain your firearm in a close quartered and tangled fight, we have the training vault for you. And that's where we're going to teach you how to do that stuff. The training vault. All your less lethal weapons skills, all those less lethal, from a taser to pepper spray to impact weapons to your hands to retaining your firearm, it's all inside the training vault. You can become a member of the American Warrior Society for less than $1 a day and get access to all that stuff. Mike and I have a 14-day free trial. It doesn't cost you anything for the first 14 days. Get in there and check out some of the stuff I'm talking about and jump out if you want to. It doesn't matter to me. All the videos are downloadable. You can put them on your phone and take them with you. If you got a flight, you want to check out the stuff, you're going to lose Wi-Fi, no problem. Download the videos and watch them on your flight. Sam Day is joining us. Good morning, Sammy. Rob says, good morning, brother. Chad, good morning, sir. Always good to see you. George, good morning, great info. Mike, you used my own arm against me to choke me out. Nice way to prove your statement. Yeah, and you know, speaking of chokes and buying pieces of time, me and Mike were in a fight in a parking lot one time when we were young men. The story was we were leaving a club where our buddy was a bouncer. We were bouncers at another club. We had the night off, and we saw that he was in a major fight in the parking lot. So we pull in. I wrap up in a standing rear naked choke. One dude who was swinging on our buddy Eric Thompson, who's now a producer in Hollywood, by the way. Shout out to you, Eric. And so I wrap him up in a rear naked choke. His buddy comes at me and starts swinging on me. And I'm like, hey, man, whoa. I'm just holding him for a minute. I'm just going to hold him. The guy's saying, let go of my friend, let go of my friend. I said, I will in just 1 second. Just don't hit me right now. I'm going to let your friend go, okay? I'm going to let him go. And as soon as he goes unconscious, which took just a few seconds, I let him go. As he goes to pick up his friend, I choke him unconscious. So that's a 2-for-1 right there, folks. And the reason I bring that up, it's about being prepared. It's about using your mouth to communicate. It's about slowing things down. I didn't ramp things up with my communication. I slowed the moment down. I kept him from hitting me. I think this is a skill that a lot of people don't think about. It's actually using your mouth to communicate with. I wasn't talking trash. I had a plan and I executed it. So again, preparedness, use your mouth. That's part of your strategy. Eric says, good example of Southern California deputy loses her firearm during a fight. Yeah, man, it happens all the time. Josh says, amazing stuff inside the training vault. Thank you for that. My jiu-jitsu coach, Mr. Cody Hudson, is on. Good morning, sir. You mean vascular restraint? Yeah, lateral vascular neck restraint is what Chad is talking about. I think that's the law enforcement term for it. Lateral vascular neck restraint. Some people call it a blood choke, rear naked choke. It's got 1,000 names. It's relatively safe if done correctly. We're not going to go into it too much here. It does carry some risk with it. And law enforcement, a lot of times, it's a lethal force technique. I've used it quite a bit and had a lot of success with it. But I could have gotten lucky. If you use it on certain people, you could, with the carotid arteries, you could clamp those off. If there's a plaque buildup, I've heard that it could be fatal. Someone could go into a coma, lose consciousness, and die. They could have a weak spot on the arterial wall, and it could pop under the pressure. So there's some dangers to that. You really need to know what you're doing. Mike says, I saw a Rich choke 10 guys out one time. Well, it looked like 10. Well, I don't know what to tell you, folks. You got to do what you got to do. But again, you're buying yourself pieces of time with your techniques, with your tools, with your mouth, and you need to think about those. Think about micro preparing. Think about the things we talked about this morning. Is a stun gun right for you? Couldn't tell you. You don't know what you're preparing for, which is another thing. When I was with the Red Cross, regional manager for disaster preparedness here in the state of Tennessee, I had the whole state to worry about. What are you more likely to encounter? Here in Tennessee, we don't have to worry about hurricanes. You can set that aside. I have to worry about home fires. I have to worry about winter storm activity. I have to worry about wildfires. Our house and property back up to 80,000 acres of the Catoosa Wildlife Management Agency. If that stuff gets on fire, you can bet it's going to impact me and where I live. So when you're doing your preparedness, don't just think about the big stuff you can do to keep yourself safe. Think about the little things you do every single day. Are they going to help you or hurt you when the time comes? I'll go to questions, and then we'll let everybody get on with their day. Chad says, that's what you taught me. Hey, man, I appreciate that, Chad. Thanks, brother. Hey, members, nice to have you on. Please make sure you let non-members know about this. Ted, good morning, sir. Happy to be here, and I'm happy to have you, Ted. Paul Lively's joined us. Good morning, Paul. It's an honor to meet you. Paul is one of our members up in Ohio and a heck of a police officer. We hit 50 viewers this morning, folks. Finally hit 50. Somebody is going to get the Gen 1 Tumbler. I'll be doing a randomized drawing today. Actually, that's not true. I'm not going to be doing anything. I'm going to let the computer do the randomized drawing, and I'm going to ship someone the Gen 1 Tumbler. So I'll be getting with you if you won, tracking you down, and we'll send that to you. Paul, don't worry about being late, brother. I'm glad you're here. We covered a lot of neat stuff. And again, like the Marine Corps motto of the Marine Corps model of instruction teaches us, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. So let's recap. We talked about the article, the importance of the training environment. One quick thing on this training environment, something I've seen only a few times and I really like it, and something it's easy to do. You can take some plywood and cut out a piece of plywood in the shape of a fire hydrant, the exact size and dimensions, and put it on a stand and put it out in your training environment so that you know to visually look for the fire hydrant and run to it to get cover in your environment. What's something else that stops bullets? One of those, a big commercial mail thing. They're blue. You pull the handle down, you stick your mail in. Those things will probably stop around because it's full of mail, it's metal. So make yourself one of those out of plywood and put it on a stand so you know to run toward the big blue thing. Any of these things that you can do to create a training environment that's more like the one you're going to find in the real world, I think the better. We talked about show number 52, original strength for the tactical athlete. We talked about Mike's got you a new store all set up. Check it out, AmericanWarriorSociety.com. Check out the store if you want to get some cool swag like this. I told you about the Toys for Tots match. Guys, get an unwrapped toy. Spend $20 this year. Find somewhere that's accepting those and make some kid that needs it life a little bit better this year. I appreciate that. We talked about the stun gun, man. I don't know. It has its place. I've never used one. I can't tell you if it's good or not. All I can tell you is my dogs don't like it when I do that. We talked about micro preparedness, micro prepping. We talked about Justin's new blog, Swift, Silent, and Deadly. He was a reconnaissance Marine, MARSOC Marine, and he's doing some stuff on micro prepping that I'm not seeing anybody doing anywhere else. And I told him yesterday, man, I wish I would have thought of it because I really like it. Talked about all the stuff you can get in the training vault, man. Any questions for me? Or if not, I'm going to let you guys go. Rasmus says, does anyone drink decaf coffee? Just serious. It's a no-go. No decaf for me, brother. Let's see. Josh says, one thing I struggle with is a balance of training. How do I train in all different areas of self-defense? What do I focus on the most? And I like that. And that is a really solid point. One of the things we've talked about before, and I think Josh knows this, he's been on here several times, is inside the training vault, we have an American Warrior Society self-assessment. It's a test. You're actually going to have to take the physical fitness test that's inside of it. You'll plug your scores in. You're actually going to take the 5x5 handgun skills test. You're going to plug your scores in. You're going to take the 5x5 rifle skills test and plug your scores in. You're going to answer some questions as it pertains to combatives. You're going to answer some questions as it pertains to your medical skills, your tactical medical skills. You're going to answer some questions as it pertains to your edge weapon skills. And then at the end of that self-assessment, it's going to provide you with a scorecard, A, B, C, D, F. And if you have a D or an F in that skill set, guys, we have a module for you that's going to teach you all those skills from medical to less lethal to combatives to edge weapons, firearms, rifle, shotgun, etc. So I'm telling you guys, you're going to have to take that self-assessment to find out where you're lacking, because if you don't, you're going to do like the rest of us. And this is human nature. We focus on the things we like. You know, if you like shooting handguns, you're probably going to do a lot more of that, and your cardio is going to continue to lack. If you love to do jiu-jitsu, but you don't really have a good range or a good place to shoot, you're probably going to do a lot of jiu-jitsu and not much edge weapons or shooting. So think about that, Josh. If you haven't taken the self-assessment, man, you really should. Paul says, I'll rewatch it later. Mailbox. Yeah, man. Thank you. Great questions. Have you done the online survey? Yeah. Billy says, hello, Rich. Hello, everyone. Josh Slater, I'm not yet, sir. Didn't know about it, actually. Let's do the test one day. Yeah, we'll do that on Coffee with Rich. And Ray says, how often do you do Coffee with Rich? This is a Friday morning show, every Friday, 0630 Central Standard Time. And we talk about all the free content. Join my dear friend, business partner, Mr. Mike Seeklander, on Wednesday mornings at 6:30 on his Shooting Dash Performance Facebook page. And Mike's going to take you through all kinds of skill drills with the rifle, with the handgun, with the shotgun. Join him every Wednesday morning. You will not regret it. Let's see. Should be one identifying the weakest areas and focus on those training. Yeah, Mark, the thing with it's hard to objectively evaluate ourselves. I think sometimes that's why I think the self-assessment tool that we put out there is a pretty good way to do that, because it's you take the test. You didn't devise the test. The test was devised for you. You take it, you plug your score in. Your score is what it is. It's an indicator of where you were that day. If you go on the mats and you get choked, you get submitted 3 or 4 times, that doesn't mean you suck. It means that's where you were that day with those opponents. So, and there's truth in the mats. There's truth on the range. I mean, there's truth on the pull-up bar, guys, whether we like it or not. All right, folks, doesn't seem like anybody's got anything else for me. I've kept you on here 35 minutes. Thank you for joining me this morning. Coffee with Rich. First time we hit 50 live viewers. Somebody's going to be getting the Gen 1 Tumbler, guys. Thank you for joining me. As always, remember, the fight is coming. Be ready.